If you had to name 3 Mario enemies right now, which enemies are the first ones that come to your mind? Koopa? Goomba? Bullet Bills? I think for me, that would be the case. But I think nobody ever said Mario enemies? Easy. Panzer, P.O.P. and Cataquack. If you actually named these 3 right now, I think the possibilities are probably lower than winning the lottery. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. The weirdest enemy of every single mainline Mario game. I don't want to waste any of y'all's time today, so we should just start. So, let's go! Super Mario Bros. This game is that well known around the world that I think it is quite impossible to name an enemy that kinda seems odd. But let's still try to find the weirdest one. If you would not know that game and play for the first time, I think the oddest enemy might be the Hammer Bros. Obviously they're legendary nowadays and are a part of almost every single Mario game to this date, but let's take a look at them. The other enemies in this game are walking turtles, flying fishes, octopuses, so kinda natural stuff I guess. I mean, yes, there's a flying turtle as well, but you know, I don't think it's that weird of a concept like the Hammer Bro. Cause why is there a turtle-human hybrid throwing hammers at you? I think you can follow my thoughts, right? To me, it's still a little bit strange to call him a weird character right now, but back in the day, he maybe was. Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels. Okay, here it's already easier. It's got to be Bowser's brother. Wait, there is a Bowser's brother? Honestly, before researching for this video, I didn't know either. Well, if you grew up playing the All-Stars version of Lost Levels, like I did, you wouldn't notice. Because the color palette of Bowser's brother is the same as Bowser himself. But on the Famicom Disk System version of the game, he's blue. Even I would have noticed that there's something wrong with my boy Bowser. Even Nintendo wasn't that sure about naming this friendly guy Bowser's brother at first. They told us he's actually not his brother, and a couple years later stated he is his brother. My good old Nintendo back at it again. Another honorable mention for this game would be the Poisoned Mushroom, if you would count this as an enemy. Super Mario Bros. 2. Okay, in this game it's actually quite hard to name a weirdest one, cause all of them are kinda weird. I mean, as you all probably know, this game wasn't even supposed to be a Mario game in the first place, so I think that's why we get some crazy enemies in here. Some of them have a more classic Mario characteristics to them, like for example Flurry or Hoopster. They are tiny little creatures similar to enemies like the Goombas or the Koopas. But whoa, what is that? Okay, I think we found our weirdest enemy. First off, his name is just Whale. Imagine the Koopa's name would be just Turtle, or Bowser would be called Dragon. And then he seems that odd, cause he's just a realistic looking whale, and that's it. Because he's supposed to look that real, and he kinda does, and is in a cartoony game like Super Mario Bros. 2, I think it seems a little bit off to me. So to me, he has to be the weirdest enemy of Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. 3. Mario Bros. 3 is home to a lot of new characters that later turn out to be legendary for the series. The Boo, the Chain Chomp, and even Dry Bones are from this game. But there's also some of them only seen in that game that never return again. My favorites of the oddest ones have to be Hotfoot and Buster Beetle. I love the design of these flames walking around with their tiny feet below them. Look at them. Come on, you can't be mad at these. Oh! And then the Buster Beetle. I think this might be the true weirdest one. Cause when did he grow arms? My dude is swole! In all honesty, why this dude has never made a comeback so far is criminal. Nintendo, you have to bring him back. For real. Super Mario Land. This game is home to a lot of weird enemies. Batadon, Bun Bun, Pion P, Chicken. Yes, that's his name. I just made fun of that and yes, they called the chicken. But the one that always stands out to me was Toko Toko. The way he ran around in the game will forever live rent-free in my head. And also the amount of times I died to this dude. I don't know if I need to explain why this dude is weird. I mean, look at him. I love his design though. And the animation, as I said, is crazy good. Top tier art design right there. Love him. Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. These Game Boy Mario games are a treasure chest when it comes to weird Mario enemies. Floating Face, Blooping Toadie, Moofish, Big B, Bomu Bomu, number 48. Yes, that's also that name. They are wild with the Game Boy names. And the list goes on and on. The bosses are just as creative. Look at them. This game is weird, but in the best way possible. The weirdest enemy to me personally has to be Kurokioa though. He appears literally one time in the entire game. Kinda like a boss, and then all you have to do is jump on him. They actually took that time to make a character for the game who has only 3 seconds screen time and then you defeat him. And that's super weird. And super cool. I actually appreciate that. Super Mario World. Even though he's the first enemy that you encounter in the entire game, Rex has to be one of the strangest enemies in the entire game. This game was obsessed with dinosaurs, and it seems like Yoshi, Dino Rhinos, Rex. Rex never ever made a comeback in mainline Mario games, even though he's legendary, and I think exactly that what makes it so weird. Cause why make a perfect character like him and then never reuse him again? Other characters that are weird to me in this game are enemies that already existed but got a new feature about them. Like Kito, for example. Why do you start fishing? I mean, it's kinda cool to think about that that's probably where the idea sparked from, to use him as your savior in Mario Kart. But okay, that's alright, but why is he in a pipe? Okay, now it's getting ridiculous. Next game. Super Mario 64. Mario 64 is not only home to some of the weirdest Mario enemies ever, but also to one of the most traumatizing ones. The piano. The weird thing about this enemy is that it's an object that turns to life in such a mad way that to this day, I think none of us ever forget about their first encounter with it. The weirdest enemy of the game is hard to name though, because again, the game tried to revolutionize the Mario franchise, what it also eventually did, and because of that, there's a lot of new enemies. Some of the weirdest have to be Cheap Chomp, Heave-Ho, Spindel, and Mr. I. The weirdest one has to be Moneybag though. Moneybags are these purse-looking like characters that appear like once or twice in the games, and that's it. So why they even implement them in some games it's weird to me, but I like this guy. I don't know why, but for some reason he's one of my favorite Mario enemies of all time. Which one are your favorites? Super Mario Sunshine. Especially the enemies designed in this particular game, right? They're hilarious. They're epic in the most positive way ever. I mean, look at my dudes. But Cataquacks have to be the craziest one out of them. Their design is absolutely out of this world crazy. They look like a ball on legs, and then have the biggest lips ever. Even bigger lips than most girls that I see on Instagram nowadays. Most of us probably encountered Cataquacks for the first time in Mario Kart Wii though, where they were super annoying and super funny at the same time. A weird and odd enemy that probably none of us will ever forget. New Super Mario Bros. On the first sight I thought I'm gonna name Moneybag again, but I think there's an even weirder one exclusive to this game. Snail Horns. They are badass, crazy well designed, and never returned ever again. Nintendo, hello, is someone at home? Maybe I'm a bit biased, because the Snow World has to be one of my favorite worlds in any Mario game ever, but their behavior is quite similar to bullies in Mario 64, and I think that's why they maybe never return again. Because they already have an enemy with his abilities, I think they decided in the future to go along with the bullies instead of the snail ones. That's really sad though. I'm so sorry, my dudes. I'll never forget y'all. Super Mario Galaxy. I think I could make an entire different video just talking about the creativity and the weirdness and oddness of the enemies of Super Mario Galaxy. With all the different worlds and variations and galaxies, Nintendo really took advantage to create some of the coolest and weirdest looking enemies. I'm gonna name some of my favorites. For example, we have Bomboos. They only appear in the Ghostly Galaxy. Makes sense. I think the concept and design is so cool, cause like the hybrid version of a bomb and a boo, that's super cool. Also, Gringles are weird. Enemies like them already kind of exist, so why even make them in the first place? Why not? You're right, I know why they made them. To haunt me in my nightmares? One character that slightly has to be weirder in my eyes has to be Tracks. Tracks are kind of like Moneybags again, but with a crazy design. They have eyes of a blooper and sandals on their feet. What even is this creature? I mean, I don't even care. I love it. These little guys here have to be the #1 weirdest enemy in Super Mario Galaxy. Or what do y'all think? Honorable mention though, even though he doesn't count officially as an enemy, I would name Guillermo. And you know why I count him as an enemy. His tasks are never fun, he's even getting mad and aggressive at some points, and his missions were just annoying. Chill, my dude! New Super Mario Bros. Wii. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I think every one of us owned a copy of this game at some point. So again, none of these enemies probably look weird to any of us, even though they still came up with some legendary enemies. Cooligan, for example, has to be one of the most badass looking characters from any Mario game ever. Look at his swag. But I don't think he's the #1 weirdo here. I think it has to be King Bill. King Bill doesn't even appear in a main game level, only in one special world level, 9-8. Still, I think everyone remembers the moment that dude flew towards us for the first time. So he for sure has left a huge impact on all of us. Get it? Cause he's huge?
Okay.
Super Mario Galaxy 2. It's got to be Smeeches, straight away. Yes, there is also a lot of new and exciting characters in this game, just like in Galaxy 1. But because of his attack, I don't think I need to explain this one much more. Smeeches will attach to you by kissing Yoshi. That causes that Yoshi can't use his tongue or eat anymore. That's a long kiss right there, my boy. They are actually based on Poinks, an enemy with a quite similar attack from Sunshine that we haven't talked about earlier, but that I actually thought about naming as a weirdest character for Super Mario Sunshine also. Ah, how I love these games. The creativity really is off the charts. Super Mario 3D Land. In Super Mario 3D Land, we don't have that much weird enemies, because most of them are characters that already existed, but evolutionized. Do you say it like that? For example, Tail Goomba, Tail Thwoms, Tail Boo, Tail Bullet Bills, Tail Bob-ombs. They really liked the tail situation, didn't they? The game is actually also home to Bitty Butts though, which is definitely a cool new addition, but they aren't weird. And I was like, who do I name? And then I remembered him. Block-a-Block. He doesn't attack and is really easy to defeat, but what is it? It's a bullet bill, but attached to brick blocks, question mark blocks, and covered in spikes. And on top of that, he behaves like a snake block. They went all out for this one, to be fair. I don't think there is a more Transformer kind of looking Mario enemy in the entire franchise, to be fair. New Super Mario Bros. 2. They are super creative with that game. Trust me. Gold Boo, Gold Koopa, Gold Bro, Gold Koopa Paratrooper, Gold Lakito, Gold Pyro Goomba, Gold Piranha Plant. Wow. They're not even weird in my eyes. They're kinda, I guess. Number one weirdo has to be Behemoth. First off, his name. It's literally inspired from the Bible, which is absolutely crazy. Then he's the largest Boo I've ever seen. Pause. And then the way he behaves when you turn around is ridiculous. I don't know if he's that weird or the weirdest enemy of that game, so y'all need to let me know your opinions down in the comments, but it's definitely the one character that stands out to me from that game. New Super Mario Bros. U. Even though this game might not seem to be that creative on the first sight, cause, well, there's 3 games like that already, there's some new and really creative enemies in this game. Weatherwing and Flipperus, for example. I can't decide between 2 characters though. First off, Goombas. Why would they even feel the need to create another Goomba? That's just a little off to me personally. I think you know what I mean. The second enemy is someone entirely different. Dragoneel. Huge characters always are very memorable, like the Mega Omagi, the Big Goomba in New Super Mario Bros. DS, or Behemoth. So I think that's why Dragoneels are still that prominent in my head. So I need y'all's help. Goombas or Dragoneel? Or maybe someone entirely different. Super Mario 3D World. We have a little bit more to talk about here. We again have a lot of evolutions of already existing enemies, like for example the skating Goombas or cat bullet builds, but also there's new enemies which are absolutely wild. First off, the Fuzzler. My guy is a Wiggler Fuzzy hybrid. He's so cute. Then there is Ramahead, one of the most insane character designs of today's video, and I absolutely adore it. But to me, Splorch takes the cake here. This friend jumps out of the lava and follows you around, leaving a trail of lava behind him. So not only that he's a new looking character, also his abilities are kinda new for the franchise, and he's actually quite dangerous. I think they should bring him back in the next 3D Mario game for sure. Ramahead also, to be honest, love this guy. Super Mario Odyssey. Okay, where do we even start here? This is one of the most creative Mario games ever. It's also home to a lot of creative enemies. Small ones like Chinko or Pokio, but also the big ones like Bifrost and Astro Lancer. To me, the oddest enemy in the game has to be, for the first time in this video, a boss. The Dragon of Ruined Kingdom. I think it's such a surprise to see a realistic looking dragon like this in a Mario game. He has to be one of the most intimidating enemies on the first sight of any Mario game ever. But the weirdest thing about him is yet to come. The boss fight against him might be one of the easiest in any 3D Mario game. Maybe Womp King or King Bob-omb are a little more easy, yes. But compared to any fight from Galaxy or 3D World, this one is kinda disappointing. So the difficulty is kinda weird, and to make him look that realistic is also kinda weird. It's super dope, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of off, you know? I lost my mind seeing him for the first time. I think that's what they were going for with that anyways. The same kinda goes for the T-Rex, but the dragon is the craziest one. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I think for Mario Bros. Wonder, I can't name one enemy that's not weird. There's 1,000 new variations of already existing characters, plus a huge number of enemies that make their debut. There's less weird ones like the Woohoo or the Bulrush, which kinda reminds me of the Dino Rhinos, and a lot weirder ones like the Bloomp, Hoppo or Conk. That N is really saving me. Especially a lot of the Wonder Sections version of the enemies are weird and funny, and I mean that's what the game is all about. But to name only one weirdest one, that's almost impossible, at least to me. Maybe I'd say Kerpop, cause it's literally popcorn, or Knock Knock. Awesome name choice right there. The rarest enemy has to be no Piranha Plant though, with just appearing in one level. Maybe I'm going with him even though he's just an evolution of the Piranha Plant. I'm not sure about that decision though, so please let me know your opinions in the comments. And that's it. Thank y'all so much for watching today's video, and please consider to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. And I hope to see y'all again next week for the next video. And until then, God bless y'all, stay healthy. Bye.